The next passage is a passage from uh, political and historical background of America, and one very common topic, which is a favorite topic or subject of test setters, is the slavery movement and the women's rights. So this particular passage talks about these two subjects and the interplay of slavery and women's rights. It's something that we see in this passage. I would request you to read it quickly before we move further. So you can pause the video and read the passage to get an idea, and then we'll take it forward. Great. So this is one particular subject or one particular topic which most of the participants find a little difficult to understand because it is based on history, and history is not something we try to remember. We kind of forget it, and we do not get to read history so often. So we are not acquainted with this kind of subject also. So most of the participants find it difficult to understand. So let's just quickly try to understand what this passage is, and I'll try to cover a few techniques of reading when I go through this essay. This is something which is most important. So whenever you get a passage, pay special attention to the first introduction here. So the passage is adapted from some speech at this time by this lady, and it is anti-slavery convention. So she's speaking at anti-slavery convention of American women. So we know that this is something related to slavery, and she would be making an agenda against slavery. So okay, fine. Let us just quickly look at the key points here. We are told that it is not within the province of women to discuss the subject of slavery. So women should not discuss slavery. So women should not discuss slavery. It is a political question. Okay, so the reason is political question, and we are stepping out of our sphere when we talk about take a part in such a discussion. It is not true that merely. So now she's countering it. So I'll say she counters it. Likewise, a question of justice of humanity. So she's saying that it's not just a political question; it has got other implications as well. And for the welfare of the and the prosperity of nation, we must kind of delve into these kind of questions. I mean, it's not out of the province of women. Whether the laborer shall receive the reward of his labor or be driven daily toil, whether he shall walk erect in this or be reckoned among the best with which perish, whether his bones and sinews shall be his own and all this, whether his child shall receive the protection of its natural. So he's talking about the issues of laborers and slaves ranked among the livestock of a state to be disposed of as a caprice or interest of the mastery by dictate. These considerations, okay, fine, are all involved in the question of liberty or slavery. So it's not just a political question, it is a something which is related to humanity. So as a human being, every single individual is concerned about it, is what she's trying to say in the first paragraph. Making these kind of milestones and putting some points here and there makes a lot of sense. You can always read the first line and last line of every paragraph to get the idea and move on swiftly. And it's the subject of comprehending interests of such magnitude merely a political question. So again, she's saying that whether it is a political question, and at the end she says that open to the claims of immunity or less modest because she feels for the. So here again she talks about women's rights. She feels, and all these words talk about that. Her enslaved sisters would stretch forth her hand. Okay, fine. By the constitution. So I'm not really reading, and I'm not really trying to get into deep depth of the passage. I would rather like to get a basic idea of what is going on, and then while doing the questions I can go back. By the Constitution of the United States, the whole physical power of North, so now she's talking something specifically about North, is pledged to the suppression of domestic insurrections. So North is suppressing what? Domestic insurrections or domestic revolutions. And should the slaves do something, the men of the North are bound to make common cause with the tyrant. So they will become tyrant, which means the administration will try to suppress all the revolutions which happen there. And when the father, husband, son, brother shall have left their homes to mingle with this. So she is making a very, very emotional plea about the role of women in all this paragraph. Let me just come to the straight to the end of it. For the overthrow of a system which thus threatens to lay ruins of fabric of her domestic happiness, and she will not be deterred from the performance of her duty to herself, her family, and all this, which means women also have equal right to talk about slavery. So she talks about women's rights, that they cannot be alien to the topic of or the subject of slavery. But admitting it to be a political question, again she refers to political question. Have we no interest in the welfare of the countries? Now she is making a patriotic kind of statement. And I'll come straight to the end of the paragraph. I'll not read the whole thing. Maybe from here or some other point I can read this. Our country is as dear to us as to the proudest statesman. And so we are also a equal participant in the country, that the foot of the tyrant, so they're talking about other person as tyrant, we no longer invade the domestic sanctuary, nor his hand tear asunder those whom God Himself has united by the most holy ties. Okay, fine. So women's rights, and we also have equal right in the emancipation or the freedom movement, is what he's trying to say. Let's come straight to the questions. And while reading the questions, it is very, very important. Read questions more carefully than the passage. Read the questions more carefully than the passage itself, and try to understand the question very clearly to answer it, because just getting a, so this is what is my suggestion to you and my way of doing the passage. When I read the passage, I will not pay too much attention to it. When I do the questions, I'll pay special attention to the passage. Now, this is not the only way. I've seen some people reading the passage very carefully and zipping through the questions very fast. And this also works. I'm not saying that this does not work. All I'm saying is that every person has his own style. This is my style, where I read the passage to get the basic idea, and then while doing the questions, I pay more attention to it. And in case I get some time, I can revise it. But then, in case you are the one like a sponge who absorbs all the content very nicely, and you have got an exposure of reading novels where you can manage long stuff and you are able to understand what is important and what is not, by all means, read the passage first and read it carefully. But then, yeah, you have to identify your own style, and you have to identify your own level of retaining information. Smith's main purpose in the passage is two. So what is her main purpose? If you look at all these statements, accuse fellow abolitionists, not really, argue that the cause of abolition and women's rights are continuous. So I'm sorry, there was a little disturbance there. So his main purpose, argue that the cause of abolition and women's rights are continuous for the spirit of continuations of spirit of American Revolution. Not really. There is no reference of American Revolution. Make the case that women's rights are meaningless while slavery exists. Not really. There is no such thing as women's rights separately being discussed with slavery. Encourage that women, encourage women. So I'm not really totally eliminating C, but let me see if there is a better option. Women to see their participation in the abolitionist case as just and important. So as we discussed, this is more about a combination of women's rights and slavery, and that women have to play an important role. D is the best option there. Which statement provides the best description? So keep on marking the words, keywords of the technique. So which technique does he use it throughout the passage? He keeps on questioning lots of times. Form of rhetorical questions. So rhetorical questions is what you would find in most of the cases, isn't it? Isn't that she has been questioning a lot? So this is the technique. How does Smith develop? So I'll just take you through the technique there. Um, we are told that this is the case when we take, it is not true this, it is likewise a question of morality and everything. She talks about that here. Whether the laborer shall, so from here to here, there were lots of questions that she asked. Laborer shall receive the reward of his labor driven by this, whether his bones and all this, whether his child shall receive protection, all this, lots of questions. So this is all example of rhetorical questioning. So I'll go with this option where it is like a rhetorical questioning. That's the technique she uses. Criticizes her opponents by quoting self-contradictory remarks. There aren't any of those things. Illustrates each of her central ideas. There is just one central idea. Emotionally power. Anecdote. Anecdote is like story, so there is no story going on. Emphasizes reasonableness of her views by presenting them as though they are universally held. Nothing like universal held. She's not giving examples for the country so much. How does Smith develop her argument about slavery as a political question? So initially itself, she rubbed it aside. She brushed aside, saying that it's not a political question, and then she says that it's a question of humanity and patriotism. She claims that designation is an outdated one, not outdated one, and offers alternate. She diminishes the designation as too narrow. Yeah, she does say that it is too narrow, but then demonstrates its relevance to her audience. Yeah, and then she tells that it is a question of patriotism and it is a question of humanity, not just about political rights. Contends that the designation has become trite. Trite is commonplace, not really. Describes the meaning of the designation for men and then challenges women to embrace it. It is not such that she is talking about men first and then says women should accept it, nothing of that sort. Best summarizes the first paragraph. So, in the first paragraph, she kind of challenged the word political, and then she said that it is within the province of women also to embrace, talk about against slavery. Conventional viewpoint and present evidence supporting it, not really. Rejects a claim and elaborates on her reasons for doing so, maybe. Introduces her subject and provides historical background, not really. Identifies a problem and proposes steps to remedy it, not really. The answer is B. She rejects the claim that it's a political question and then tells reason that why is it not a political question? It's something which is related to humanity. In the passage, the Smith argues that it is possible for women to engage in which activity. So, which type of activity can women engage in? So, now see, this first paragraph has ended here. This question must be from the second paragraph. So, what is happening in the second paragraph? If I quickly go there and see, it says, and is a subject comprehending interest of such magnitude merely a political question and one which women cannot take part? He says, may not be the ornament of meek and quiet spirit exist with an upright mind and enlightened intellect. So, those people who are claiming women to be out of political system claim that this politics is too harsh and women with a kind heart and a gentle disposition should not participate in such questions. So, she's countering this idea. So what is happening here? It is possible acting according to humanitarian principles by preserving their femininity. Yeah, this is definitely right. Adhering to personal morality, not personal morality while being politically neutral. Not politically neutral. She's saying become politically active. Financial security, no such thing. Resisting calls of war while still opposing slavery, not really. A seems to be the best option there. Humanitarian principles while preserving their femininity. So it's not less feminine to become to talk about the humanitarian principles. Now, which line? 26 to 33. Let me see what does it say. So, although for these kind of questions, you should look for the evidence first. So you can look for the evidence given there, in case this is a question where like it's an evidence and it's a tandem question, so you can read the lines first. Let's read 26 to 33 quickly and see what they are saying. 26 to 33, it starts from here. It may not be the ornament of meek and quiet spirit, exist with an upright mind. May not the ornament of meek and exist with upright mind and lighted intellect? And must woman necessarily be less gentle because her heart is open to the claims of humanity, or less modest because she feels the degradation of her enslaved sisters and would stretch forth her hand for their research? So she's basically questioning it in a rhetorical way. She's saying that, see, how can you say that women would be considered unkind in case they start talking about anti-slavery movement? So that is what it is. It's not against femininity to be a part of anti-slavery movement, is what she's trying to say, which is conveyed in this line. So the answer to this is this. Let me go to the next question. It says, according to Smith, the US Constitution requires which action to be the part of when northern free states? So in the next paragraph, see, most of the time, the questions will follow the same sequence as the passage. So questions and passage follow the same sequence. If I look at question number 38, question number 38 is about this part where they are talking about the northern states. And when you read it, what it means is that in case there is a resurrection in northern states, in case there is a revolt, the northern states would be obliged to uh, suppress such a revolt because they are a part of the country. So, since they are affiliated to the country, since they are a part of the nation, they will have to suppress it. So that's the question. What is happening here? According to Smith, U.S. Constitution requires which action from the northern free states if slaves were to revolt? Sever their ties? Not really. To give shelter? Not really. Help the slave states fight? Help the slave states fight the slaves rebellion? Of course, yes. So they will suppress it. So this is the one. They will suppress the rebellion. Fight the slaves rebellion, which means fights against the slaves rebellion. So they will suppress it, which is the answer there. In context, what is the main effect of Smith's use of the word tyrant? So if you read this passage, you'll find that he has used the word tyrant again and again at many places. At one place here it is. And then from the beginning itself, she has been using the word tyrant. And what she's trying to depict is to depict the opponents in a gray light, or emphasize the injustice of slavery. Line 52, what is the meaning of slumbering? So let me go to line 52 and read the word slumbering. So here it is, arouse the slumbering energies of women. So this is an adjective which is used with the word, with the noun energies. Arouse the slumbering energies. So slumbering energies may be dormant energies, which is the best word as I can see here. Not drowsy, not lethargic, not unconscious. Okay, now this seems to be a tandem question. Okay. In the passage, Smith most strongly suggests that slavery affects the United States by. So, what is the effect of slavery on the United States? Let me read this particular line first. I remember they did talk about nation and patriotism somewhere. So, let me read line 68 to 73 first, if that is what is the effect of slavery on the United States. So, 68 to 73, 65, 66, 67, 68. Shall we silently behold the land which we love with all the heart, warm affection of children, rendered a hissing and reproach throughout the world by this system, which is already tolling the death bell of her disease among the nations? So, should we just keep quiet? Should we just keep quiet when the whole nation reprimands us for, or kind of um, it's a loss of reputation for US when the whole world criticizes it for, uh, you know, beholding such kind of practices, such as practices like slavery. So that's what she's trying to say. Shall we silently behold the land which we love with all this thing, rendered a hissing and reproach throughout the world hissing and a reproach throughout the world. Reproach is scolding, criticizing by the world. So basically, US is losing its reputation because of such a practice, is what this line says. And lowering the country's reputation in the international community. Of course, this is the thing, hissing and criticism and everything. And the answer to that one is this line. We are done with this kind of passage. Do not really pay too much attention to every line and word in the passage. The best approach is to go through the questions, and with respect to questions, you do the passage. But yes, you have to do at least 3 to 4 full tests the way I'm explaining, to make sure that you understand the structure of the test. Half the battle is won if you understand the structure of the SAT test and how the questions are framed. What exactly are they trying to ask, and how they convey information in the passage? Like, for example, in this one, a lot of emotional and um, very emotive expressions were used throughout the passage to convey the simple fact that women also have every right to fight against slavery, and it is not a political question, it is a question of humanitarian beliefs, and it's a question of humanity more than anything else. Like, it's a question of human rights. Thank you so much. In case you have any queries, you are most welcome to reach out to me, and I'll solve your problems as much as possible. And thank you for watching.